Hi guys. Basically, I don't even know what this video is about, but I was looking at my channel the other day and I was just like, I need to stop overthinking and stop putting, I want to say pressure, but just expectations of however I think my channel should look or my video should look and just post. I think sometimes I forget the why. Like, why did you start this channel? I think a lot of you, like those who follow me on Instagram and Facebook and other, picture based platforms, like, will understand when I say I'm not a person who likes capturing moments in pictures. Like, I like, yeah, I struggle with that. So YouTube was perfect for me because it was just like, if I'm just active on YouTube only, like I don't even need the other accounts. Like I don't even need the other accounts, guys. I need to delete those accounts because I don't use them. Um, but YouTube is perfect for me because I want to record. And I remember when Bay's friend died, he was so heartbroken that he didn't have captured moments with his friend. He didn't have captured moments, and he would see videos. He saw at the memorial service. He saw videos of him captured by other people and on a social media, but he didn't have, you know. And then he also said to me like that he wants to start celebrating his birthday and he wants to, capture more moments and stuff like that. And I I thought about the why of this channel that are so easy to forget, that I started this channel because this is the best way I know how to capture moments. This is what I want. I want this channel. And it hit this video is going to be all over the place. I don't know if if all of you know Zibo Bansi. She was a Botswana YouTuber, and she was from Botswana, lived in the US, and then came back to Botswana. Kind of, what's her boyfriend's name? What I don't know what tense to use regarding their relationship, but he's her baby daddy. She passed on after giving birth in hospital, and I remember watching her last video, which was the baby shower, and after that, guys, Zibo Banzi has passed on after giving birth, and then there's videos she took of her baby, guys. And then I remember, I think it's Frost. Frost, yeah, that's the guy's name. She passed on, and the last video she had posted was a baby shower. She was heavily pregnant, got her baby shower. I'm gonna keep getting interrupted. Anyway, so Zibo passed on after giving birth to a baby girl, and I remember, I think I was pregnant. I think I was either pregnant with Azania, or because I remember because it was my first pregnancy, and we had just moved. We moved to Honeydew from never. My boyfriend had never lived in never. No, he had, but like I had lived in Joburg in part, like, if you've lived in Joburg before, if you lived in an area, like my mom knew the areas, knew people around. My mom had lived in Krugersdorp, which is very close to Honeydew. We had lived in somewhere like around Honeydew. I have an uncle, so I I wasn't familiar with the place, but I was okay. Like, I've lived in these parts of the world before. I grew up, side tsa Joburg. I know ke wena go Pitori, but I grew up there. Like I almost was a Joburg Han, but I moved back quite early, right? So fine. I'm quite familiar. But now because I'm pregnant, now everyone is panicked. My mom was like, okay, go to the hospital, Gurga's Dopo. I know mang, and fine. My aunt on the other hand is panicking because why? First pregnancy, someone at work passed on, like I mile, and they're calling me, are you okay? Yeah. I could hear that they basically want me to come home. And then um and then Zibo Bansi passes on, guys. Yo, they did not, my anxiety skyrocketing. But anyway, that's not the point. The point was her death, ne, taught me one thing. I realized that she had captured her entire life. Like looking back, I went back on her channel and it was from days when she was tiny and skinny to when she was pregnant. And I remember her posting a video, Ajamutoho, a heavy breather, huffing and puffing, heavily pregnant. Guys, she captured her entire existence. Okay? And I wasn't following her on Instagram. It's not my thing. I can't do that. But YouTube, I was following her. And I felt like she captured everything. Like if she went back to the US, she would tell us I'm back in the US, and she would tell us about the food. And if she comes back to Botswana, she tells us I'm in Botswana, wara wara wara. Oh my god. She would never tell us the reasons why, but she captured her movements, and I felt like her daughter like wouldn't need anyone to be like, because I lost a parent at a young age that I felt like I never met, right? I met like I have two memories of my dad. I have a memory of my dad taking me on a shopping spree, and I remember I was so young. I even bought a G-string. I don't know why they had G-strings for kids, but I remember it was pink. It had a little puppy, guys. And then so when my dad would come, he would just come and take me for a shopping spree, and I would be running around the store choosing clothes. He didn't care, and then he'd take me back home. I mean, he was best friends with my uncle who's still alive now, and who's basically like a dad to me now, who's married to my aunt. But I remember that, and I remember years later, or maybe it wasn't years later, Jiggy Jiggy is sick. Jiggy Jiggy is in a wheelchair. And I remember he lived in Durban, so he spoke Zulu, and I used to live in there by Ekuruleni. What's that place? Commercial. What's that place? It's called Friendship Town. It's like a complex. Molemokanana, Pumulong, Maibuye. There's like a random complex of houses. They just abondo. I used to live there. So I could speak Zulu because I was around, the Zulu hoods and stuff like that, But then Misabo Mangboing. So I remember he was living in Durban and I could speak Zulu, and I was at my aunt's visiting, and he was sick, and I don't know what he was doing. I think he just was there to see me. I don't know. And he was like speaking Zulu to me. It was just confusing as a child to see him, because obviously I had a stepdad, and no one sat me down and said, this is your dad, this is your stepdad, your dad is gonna visit you, blah blah. It was just confusing. And then like the last time, another memory again is his funeral, that I had to figure out by myself that it's his funeral, you know what I mean? Later on in life when you start going through things, Um but yeah, so no one sat me down, and I realized that I had a teacher in grade 10 who told me, after I broke down because of my dad, and she had just lost her mother, and she was like, Boipelo, you need to find someone who is going to tell you about your dad. You need to talk about him, because now you like so that when you start saying, because I would be like my father or papa and just break down same time immediately. So she was like, it's because you're not used to saying those words. Like, get used to saying those. Find someone who's comfortable laughing and talking about your dad and not making it a thing, and not looking at you like, oh, skeptics or something like that. Or maybe you don't understand, you're too young. I don't know. Someone who's just free to talk about him. And so that you can get a sense of who he was and you can just be like, be able to just say the words without crying. And I remember my aunt was that person for me. Like, oh, your dad was this and that. And I remember my dad was tall and skinny. And I remember saying this to my boyfriend. I was like, I will never look like Imama because my mom, both my parents are tall, skinny people. Well, my mom is like curvaceous, but generally, like she was a model, like in her early 20s. She was a model. So I'm just like, I'm never gonna have that, thick body. I used to have it as a teenager, but that was probably hormonal. But I was like, I'm never gonna have that, anyway. But yeah, describe my. And now I look at my partner, I'm like, based on what I was told about my dad, you're definitely like my dad. Anyway, but yeah, it was a huge tangent there. But I said all of that to say, I didn't have anything to pinpoint. All I had was a picture. And I remember looking at it, and my mom was like, do you know who that is? I don't even have pictures of him, by the way. But I remember looking at a picture of Kohabo I was visiting. And she was like, surprised that I knew, like, that it's him in the picture. It was his graduation, and I think they did a party at home, and he was still in his gown and everything, kamutin thing and stuff. And I'm looking at the picture, like, I definitely have his ears. And then my mom was like, "Do you know who that is?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then she was surprised. She was like, "Oh, okay," because she, as a mother, never sat me down to say, "This is your dad," or "Today's your dad's funeral," or "This is your stepdad. This is your dad." Okay, now your dad has died. Things like that. There was no communication. It was just your child, nothing, and then the trauma catches up with you. Anyway, but for me, the other thing was that I was too young to even remember him. What kind of relationship we had, like the conversations we had, even if we like, you know what I mean, those things. And I think Zibo captured that for her child, you know? And I always say, like, I always think to myself, it's so arrogant to think that we're going to live forever. Because I would expect to die before my kids do, right? So I just wanted the why was that. And I remembered, I was like, I started this channel because I was triggered by what happened with Zibo. And I don't think I've ever mentioned it here. But what happened to Zibo Bansi? They're banging the door, these kids. I had to close the door. Anyway, what happened to Zibo is literally the reason why this channel exists. I was so yo. That girl broke my heart. Yo. I was pregnant. Imagine I'm pregnant and someone dies after giving birth. Jesus. I was so scared. So I think it affected me so much that the fear of, and I don't even know why I didn't start it back then, but I think the more kids I had, it was just like, you have to do this for your kids, Boipelo. Because I wish my dad had done it. I wish my dad had. There was no, social media back then. So, but I don't have pictures of him. I don't even know if they exist. I don't even know if he took pictures. Maybe I'm just like him. I don't like pictures because he doesn't like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't like pictures, but I don't mind sitting down and recording a video. You know? Um yeah, and posting a picture to me feels weird. It feels like I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels like, what are we doing? you know? But posting a video feels more like a captured moment. So I had to remember the why and stop overthinking. Like, I'm never gonna have time to record. I'm never. Um, I barely have time to finish everything around the house. So if I overthink and think, oh, I haven't, there's laundry right in front of me. If I overthink it and be like, excuse me, if I overthink and say, I haven't even folded the laundry, but I'm sitting here recording, I'm never going to record, honestly. And I think recording is like I said this in a video that like it's something I do for myself. I feel good after posting a vlog. I feel good when I'm editing after I put them to bed and I'm editing that and I know that this is me. I know that I'm doing it for my kids, but I'm doing it for myself. It's something I'm doing for them that I know that it fills me up. It fills me up right now. For them right now, it does nothing, obviously. But it fills me up that one day it's going to do something for them. And I don't want to include their father in my content. I don't really include them. They're part of my life, so they're going to appear. But I don't want to include their father that much until he was like, I need to start taking more pictures. I need to start capturing my life a bit more. I need to start. Basically, we're in the same place. We're the same. We're we're very similar. We're very similar. Um, and yeah, and I thought I should also do that for him because me capturing him as well means that the kids will get to have an idea of our relationship. They will get to understand some of the things. Um, this is quite personal, but I remember when my dad's death hit me when I was in grade 8, like when I started understanding, because I was living with my aunt, and then that's when I started seeing that I don't have my own family. Like, I live with another family. My mother is in Krugersdorp, my little brother, like, it was just a mess. We were just scattered, right? And my father had passed on already. And I just thought to myself, I don't have a family. I live with another family. And they can try to include you, but it's very obvious, that you're not part of the family. So I think it hit me then, and I remember I started writing a lot. I was very creative. I started writing a lot of poetry, about how I felt. So I was never that teenager that like taught like a stage or whatever. I was very emotional. Like I was affected by my father's death so much. So much. Um but because I had so many male figures, I'm the first grandchild, and my grandfather I called Kimita Papa, and because of that, all the grandkids were Mita Papa. Mita Papa, Mita Papa. So he adores me, that man. That man adores me, guys. Oh, that man adores me, ne? But obviously he doesn't replace my father, but I had the love, so I didn't go looking for the love. I didn't do all of that. But the questions and like, I remember my aunt told me, I'm like, my mom had me when she was 20, and my dad I think was like 22 or something. All right, so I'm like, why did they break up? Because my aunt made a joke. I was like, yeah, I remember your dad coming drunk, doing whatever, wanting to see you. Your mom and dad were fighting a lot. With whatever, fine. I'm like, so why did they break up? And she's like, uh, I don't know if my dad was hanging around with like the wrong people or people my mom doesn't like. She just said something, and to me right now, I'm like, that sounds like something a 20-year-old, like 20-year-olds would break up over, right? And every time I think of my own relationship and the fact that there's kids involved, I have to think about that. That like when my aunt told me why they broke up, I was like, really? Like, and I remember I had so much resentment towards my mother. I was like, why did you leave him over something so stupid? He was 22 hanging out with people you didn't like. It was probably just a phase. He's 22 years old. But I know that, like, as a 20-year-old, you're not thinking this is a phase. You're thinking, I don't like these people. These people are making you behave this way. But I remember resenting my mother for the longest time, thinking, had you not left him, he wouldn't have moved to Durban. He wouldn't have, all these things. I don't know, whatever made him sick in Durban wouldn't have made him sick. Yo, guys, I was losing my mind. So anyway, I just told you a lot of TMI. But yeah, like then I started thinking like I wish I knew, I had an idea of what their relationship was like. And obviously she's not gonna tell me. My mom was never gonna have such conversations with me. And I've accepted. Guys, I had to go check on. Let me get comfortable. Let me get comfortable again. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying, but I'm so tired. Anyway, so yeah, I felt like some things are difficult for parents to say to their children, and I know that because of my experiences or my experience with my parent or parents, I want to be more open with my kids. It's easier said than done, right? Very easy to become the thing you hate. So I think it's just better for me to just say, Boipelo, capture your life. You don't have to say much to your kids. So I think I need to focus more on that than be busy here concerned about, oh, when am I gonna get time to record? How am I gonna record? How am I gonna record when the kids? I don't want to close the door when they're in the lounge. Just close the door. Excuse me. I can hear everything. Right now, I had to stand up and go because I could hear the fridge is opening. So I can hear everything, and they're watching TV. The only thing they do is fight over toys, honestly. So yeah, I need to remember my why, and that it's deeper than just content, right? Because yeah, it's just deep. I'm so I don't know how I feel. Why is she crying? My type. Anyway, yeah. So the terrible twos are quite difficult. They're missing us. Rutwile. And like Rutwile. And I remember saying that, and that dad was like, huh? I'm like, I would take a newborn any day over this. Like, a child after us, not 1 year. Whew, guys. Oh, Robana Matata. But anyway, it's fine. He couldn't believe that newborn stages. He's like, no, isn't it easier when they can talk? I'm like, upala go ya shopong lena, because upala go feta more specific aisles. She even tells you, go there, go there. I want the. O tsena ka shop o botsa re batlang. Wa ntlhalang. O khona mmotsa re, Pimbi, we're going in here, we're going to buy 1, 2, 3. I don't know why, but with her dad it's difficult. With me, maybe it's because the client the whole day. With her dad, He will come back nar. Ongule ke reng? Kore atletse pelo ka ra galla. Ngwana hao a ke sa lena hope. I'm like, o zamalena. Na every time I know o ile reka borotho ke sa le bona ba di 3. I never. Tsama lo mo one o reka borotho. Esikhatle bona le 3 ba botlhe o ba rola ba botlhe ile reka borotho. I guess bye. But yeah, so it just gets harder. The more mobile, the more vocal, the more hey. Yeah, we have to potty train. We've been waiting for winter to end. I can tell they're ready. Bapola maleri, waiting. They communicate, sitting on the party. So now it's time to potty train. I am not looking forward to that. I'm good. 2 people. Hey. Yo. Nka tshabela kae mara. Hey, ka boa setse ba itse o berekisa toilet. Re ga iphitlha 3 months nyana or however long it takes. Ka boa setse ba itse. But at the same time, it's so sad to watch them grow so fast and like then o hanne ke mo pepe o tshware ke boroko la mutlo tshware ke boroko ngwanyana. Anyway, since ke tsamaye ko mo pepe, but as I was saying, like I don't even know what I was saying. What do you want? But yeah, it gets harder and now I'm dreading potty training. Ka mo le sile mo sona go re se tsana ka sona go re o itse keng. Oh. Ke tlo pepe ke. Tha go pepe. Pepe. Ha batle. Utlwa. Ha batle. What's up? Anyway, let me go and attend to these kids and just record as much as I can and post whatever I can. Whatever it looks like, whatever it is. As long as I'm in it. Why? What's wrong? Oh no, Gabo, what's the problem? Oh, one will come down the same time. So you get along with it. What's all I mean? Because I'm already going to eat the sauce. Because of that, I see you. Yeah? Yeah? Where are the socks? I've got shoes ahead. I've got shoes. Okay. Ke pepile motho no so. Ka bole. Wa robala ke. Every day, every day. Ntwa. What is ntwa?